Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. And obviously, judging by the title of the video, I'm going to be asking if this really is an off-road SUV or if it's just a mommy mall crawler. As always, a big shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for providing us with the Jeep. Link in the description to their inventory. Check these guys out. First and foremost, we're going to do a quick walk around on the vehicle, then we're going to take it out to see how it drives. Let's get right to it. Under the hood here, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6. It's all routed through a 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town, 25 on the highway. In terms of power outputs on this V6, it's the least powerful motor you can have in the Grand Cherokee. You're good for 293 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. You can get an optional 5.7 liter Hemi in the Grand Cherokee Trailhawks. That brings the horsepower up to 360. Let's go over things on the front end, which is my favorite part of the Grand Cherokee. So you've got these nice LED lights. They've got the LED accents around with the projector bulbs. Fog lights are just down below. Red tow hooks, which that is my favorite part of the Trailhawk. That's the sensor for the adaptive cruise control. We've got parking sensors all along. Jeep signature front grille. And then another distinguishing factor on the Trailhawk is it has this matte black wrap on the top of the hood. It's kind of hard to see because this one's finished in black. It sticks out a little bit more on like a white or a silver Grand Cherokee. Now around the side here, we've got two 65mm tires on 18-inch alloy rims, which I love the design on these rims. The nice inserts look fantastic. And then you can see the tires are a little bit more aggressive. And then note, there's a little can in there. It's hard to see. This has air suspension. And then finishing things up, trail rated since it's the Trailhawk. Grand Cherokee badging on the side, but let's head over to the rear. Here is our key fob for the Grand Cherokee. It had a couple functions: lock, unlock, remote start, your tailgate release, and it says Jeep on the back. If we do the remote start first and foremost, you can hear that 3.6 liter V6 come to life. And then we can open up the tailgate, so press that button twice. The hatch will open up. And then coming into the rear, we can see there's a couple functions. So that is to lower back down the tailgate. Rubber floor mats, since this is supposed to be the off-road capable Grand Cherokee, there is a little charging station, one of the speakers for the sound system. And then just under the little box here, if I can fumble around enough, spare tire. This is the cargo cover, so you can keep stuff out of sight. And then we can close down the tailgate. And while it's coming down, let's talk about some stuff down below. Dual outlet exhaust. There is a tow package down below. You've got your Trailhawk badging, 4x4 badging, Jeep badging is all kind of blacked out with this red trim around, which I think is a really neat touch. LED lights in the rear of the Grand Cherokee, and here's kind of like a rear angle so you can kind of see everything that's going on. Coming to the rear here, we can see we've got the panel up top. We got this black trim leather with contrasted stitching just down below. One of the window controls, got the little door handle. Here are the seats in the rear. Contrasted red stitching, which I really like. This nice perforated leather. You've got these little cup holders that you can pull out. And then just down below, you've got some heated seats. You've got a power outlet, USBs, and then you've got some vents up front with these little cargo storage nets in the rear. In terms of legroom, it's pretty decent back here. Coming to the front, we got keyless entry, so one touch to lock it. To unlock it, you just have to put your hand on the back of the door handle. And we can look at the panel here in the front. So leather with the contrasted stitching. You've got some black trim just above. All of your controls for the windows. The mirrors are power folding on the Grand Cherokee. Memory seat controls right here. We've got a couple cup holders. We can fold those back out. And then here are the seats for the front. So they say Trailhawk on them, perforated leather. You've got some nice contrasted red stitching. Fully power adjustable with the lumbar. You can move up and down the seat. And then you've got your pedal layout just down below. Parking brake, that is for the hood latch. And then you can see you've got the thing for the gas cap to open it up. Lights, usually then automatic mode, push it in for fog lamps. Screen dimmers, and then the steering wheel is going to be automatically adjustable. Start up the Grand Cherokee, just put your foot on the brake, push seat, push start, and it'll start right up. It says Grand Cherokee there in the little gauge cluster. Now I've got a couple functions here. Regular cruise control, your adaptive cruise control function right there. Jeep logo in the center. It says Trailhawk right below. Red contrasted stitching, fully leather wrapped steering wheel. You've got nice paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel to shift the gears yourself. There are rocker panels if you want to change the radio stations. That's for your center screen, and then your Bluetooth voice command controls. And then you've got your little windshield wiper, turn signal, stock craziness going on right there. Now here's the gauge clusters. You've got the RPMs over here on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, you can see that you've got like your fuel gauge and temperature gauge. You got the speedo in the center, and that's like a little configurable screen. So you've got a couple different menus that you can scroll through that are going to show you different bits of information on the Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. You can notice this is going to be pretty much identical to that Limited X that I showed you earlier this month. This is our touchscreen setup. You got vents on both sides. This is the 8.4-inch touchscreen. You got your heated and cooled seats. You've got a little backup camera function on it with the trajectory lines right there. But pretty simple setup. It's got dual zone climate, really responsive, really easy to use in general. We've been using this for a few years. Just down below the touchscreen, analog controls for the radio, analog climate controls on top of that, and they have a whole bunch of controls here for the Jeep. So stability control. Your sport mode is right next to it. Right next to that is your eco mode. Then you've got your auto stop start. Then you've got your lane departure assistance, parking sensors, and then your parallel and perpendicular parking assistance. I've got some extra storage under here in this area, and you can see that you've got a couple charging stations down in that little storage spot. Here is the shifter for that 8-speed automatic. It does have that dual shift mode, so you can use like a bump stick, or you can use the paddles if you want to shift the gears yourself. This is the most important part in the Jeeps. This is your drive mode select. So you've got your 4-wheel low, you have your off-road cruise control, which is a really neat feature. This has air suspension, like I said, so you can raise and lower the Jeep just depending on how much ground clearance you need, or to make it getting in and out of the Jeep a whole lot easier. And then you've got all of your different drive modes right here, which will pop up in this little center screen. So if I switch through the modes, you can see it goes into sand, and then it goes over into snow, and it kind of shows the Jeep in the different drive modes as you are going into them. But it's a really neat setup in general. I really like it. Center console here with more of that red contrasted stitching. You can open this up, lined with felt, and then fully opening it up, there is a 12-volt inside this little center console thing. But we can go over to the glove box now, and opening this up, again lined with felt, and the glove box is actually really large in the Grand Cherokee here. Black trim above, I really like that touch. Got a couple controls up here, so you got controls for the full panoramic sunroof that is equipped with this one. Universal garage door openers, that's for your tailgate, and then you've got your light controls up here as well, and then you can see that you've got a couple microphones for the Bluetooth. Now, no video on a vehicle would be complete without us talking about the pricing. So, pricing on this particular Grand Cherokee Trailhawk with the 3.6 liter V6 and all the equipment that I showed you, stickers for about $52,000 before any type of market adjustment. But that all being said, let's take this Trailhawk out to see how it drives. We are about to start off in the Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. Let's talk about visibility. So visibility of the hood, it's actually really easy to see out of. See visibility throughout both of the mirrors. Does come with blind spot monitoring, and then see visibility throughout the rear. Pretty good. That window back there is pretty large. So in general, visibility is decent in the Grand Cherokee, but let's set off. Now that we are fully setting off in the Grand Cherokee Trailhawk, let's talk about road noise and ride quality. So in terms of road noise, the cabin's pretty well insulated. On the ride quality side of things, I feel like it almost like cancels itself out. So with the air suspension, it's a little bit smoother than a Grand Cherokee without air suspension. But then this one has those kind of knobbier tires for the off-road, so then it all kind of evens out to where it feels like any other Grand Cherokee ride quality wise. Let's talk about steering. So you can see that the steering is pretty direct with the Grand Cherokee. The steering is very, very light and effortless, but I mean, Jeep's pretty easy to place in general. I mean, it just goes right where you want to go, and this actually feels like a pretty small vehicle in general. It definitely drives smaller than the vehicle actually is. Now let's get a little acceleration with this 3.6 liter V6. Takes a second. I mean, it gears down quickly, but you know, just under 300 horsepower is just I mean, it's okay, but it's not great. Like I said, I would recommend going for that 5.7 liter Hemi if you've got the extra cash. The power delivery is going to be so much smoother. It sounds so much nicer as well. Yes, the fuel economy is less, and you don't get the auto stop start anymore, so that even drops the fuel economy more, but I think the 5.7 liter Hemi is worth it. Summing things up on this 2020 Grand Cherokee Trailhawk, to answer the question, I feel like this is kind of in between. Is it a hardcore off-road SUV? No, it's not a Wrangler Rubicon by any means, but it's definitely more capable than your everyday run-of-the-mill SUV with that air suspension, and then with a little bit knobbier tires. It's definitely more capable than just a regular SUV in general. So if that's kind of what you're looking for, a daily drivable SUV that's comfortable, comes with a lot of luxury features as well, then this Grand Cherokee Trailhawk is definitely going to be an option that you should look into. There we have it, everyone. The 2020 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk. Absolutely awesome vehicle. I love the setup on it. It is a super solid offering. I'd recommend getting the Hemi on this one. Definitely worth the extra power. But as always, if you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you thought. And then again, a big shout out and thank you to Larry Miller, Dodge Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, and Sandy for providing us with the truck. Check them out if you're in the market for a new truck. I'll see all of you in that next video.